Hey everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a favorites video. I've decided I need to start doing some favorites videos so that you all get to know what I like, what authors I like, what books I like, what series I like, stuff like that, so that you can start recommending me amazing books that you have read that I need to read as well. So today I'm here with 5 of my favorite authors and 2 honorable mentions. I'm not listing these authors in any particular order. The first author I want to talk about is Jodi Picoult. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her last name. I watched a video to see how to pronounce it, and I completely forgot. So anyways, Jodi Picoult, she's the author of My Sister's Keeper. It's probably one of her more popular books. 19 Minutes is probably my favorite book by Jodi Picoult. It's about a school shooting, and Jodi Picoult writes a lot about very hard-hitting issues and issues that a lot of other authors don't write about, and she does it beautifully. She yanks at your heartstrings, it gets you thinking about things, and she's just an amazing author. My best friend in high school started reading her books and said, Tara, you should check her out. I think you'd really like her as an author. So I did, and Missy was correct. I really love and enjoy her books. The second author I want to talk about is somebody I've talked a lot about before, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. Nelson DeMille. He wrote Upcountry, obviously. He wrote Plum Island, which is the first book in the John Corey series. He wrote The Gold Coast, which I just read in April. The characters that Nelson DeMille writes, I think, are very relatable. I don't know if relatable is the right word. They're human. They're not perfect. They have flaws, and some of them have like some pretty glaring character flaws. But they are just enjoyable to read about, and the situations that they find themselves in are so action-packed and just keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a white wine day, guys. I know I typically am drinking red wine, but it's finally warming up in Connecticut, and so I'm drinking Chardonnay to celebrate the 70-degree weather. Author number 3. This is an author that I hadn't read any of his stuff until a book club that I was in Utah selected one of his books to be read, and I read this book and I was like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. So the book that I read, the first John Grisham book I'm pretty sure that I ever read, was Sycamore Row. And I loved his writing style. He writes about a lot of like court cases or crimes and follows lawyers, and I don't know, they're just so good. And every John Grisham book that I've read, I have loved, like at least 4 stars, if not higher. Love John Grisham. Another author who I know I have talked about in the past that I really enjoy is Mary Higgins Clark. She's the, what did they call her? The queen of suspense or queen of mystery. They have some name for her. Again, every Mary Higgins Clark book that I have read, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. I tend to read them very quickly, like I did with Remember Me in April. She's great at writing books that you don't necessarily see the ending coming, but when the twist happens, you're like, oh, there were clues leading up to it. And she's just a really good author to me. My mom loves her. I remember there was always like a million Mary Higgins Clark books hanging out in our house. So I just always grown up with Mary Higgins Clark around. And then my number 5 favorite author is relatively new to me, but if things continue, if I go and read more of her books and I like them, she has the potential to be my favorite author of all time. And that is Taylor Jenkins Reid. She wrote Daisy Jones and the Six. She wrote Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. She's written other books that I want to go back and read. even though Daisy Jones and the Six was not a 5-star book for me, I still enjoyed it. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was a 5-star book. I loved it. I've lent out my copy of Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo to basically anyone that will listen to me talk about it, because I just love it so much. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style. I think she's a great storyteller, and you get invested in her characters and you just can't stop reading. So I definitely want to check out more of her books. And if I love all of them as much as I loved Daisy Jones and the Six and the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, she's definitely a contender for my favorite author of all time. All right, so 2 honorable mentions that I wanted to give credit to, but they just don't quite make my top 5. So the first one is Lurleen McDaniel. She's a YA author. She was one of my favorite authors when I was younger. I would go to the bookstore and get every book that I could find of hers. She wrote like this Dawn Rochelle. It's a bind up of 4 novels. It's about a teenager who has cancer. So I loved her when I was younger. I haven't read her probably since graduating high school, so it's been a long time. I do want to go back and read some of her books, see if I still enjoy them the way I did when I was younger, but she was one of my favorites back in the day, so I wanted to shout her out. And then another honorable mention, and the reason that this author is not in my top 5 is while I've really, 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 really loved some of her books, I have really not loved others. So, J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter. I love the Harry Potter series, as do most people. I think Harry Potter is phenomenal. Loved it. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if J.K. Rowling is just like a Harry Potter author, or if I will enjoy other books by her. So I got the Casual Vacancy. I've tried reading this twice, and I have DNF'd it both times. I don't know if it's because it's about, something that I don't really understand, like English politics or what, but I haven't been able to get into it yet. I keep it on my bookshelf because I'm hoping that one time when I pick it up, I will be able to get into it, and I will enjoy it enough to at least finish it. So, tried reading that. It's not my favorite. But then I read The Cuckoos Calling, which is by her under a pen name Robert Galbraith, and I enjoyed it. It's not like my favorite book of all time, but I read it and I liked the story, and I proceeded to buy the next 2 books, and I'm probably going to get the 4th one, which is out, but I haven't purchased it yet. It's not Harry Potter, me reading it, in one sitting, but it was okay. So I'm really on the fence with J.K. Rowling because, I enjoyed Harry Potter, obviously, and I enjoyed The Cuckoo's Calling, but I did not enjoy this. So it's not like Nelson DeMille and John Grisham and Mary Higgins Clark, where every book that I've read of theirs I've loved, but because she wrote Harry Potter, I can't discount that. I don't know. So those are my 5 favorite authors and 2 that I needed to give some credit to. I will be filming more favorites videos, so you can get to know my bookish taste a little bit better. So until next time, happy reading. Bye.